As Russian forces retreat from the area north of Kiev, in their wake, scenes of utter destruction. Whole blocks of houses flattened, Ukrainian authorities saying they believe dead bodies are still lying underneath. But here, the dead also lay in the open. Ukrainian National Police showed us this mass grave in Butcha, saying they believed up to 150 civilians might be buried here, but no one knows the exact number. People killed while the Russian army occupied this town. This is what it looks like when the hope is crushed. Vladimir has been searching for his younger brother, Dmitry. Now he's convinced Dmitry lies here, even though he can't be 100% sure. The neighbor accompanying him with strong words for the Russians. Why do you hate us so much, she asks. Since the 1930s, you've been abusing Ukraine. You just want to destroy us. You want us gone. But we will be. Everything will be okay. I believe it. Video from Butcha shows bodies in the streets after Russian forces left the area. Some images even show bodies with hands tied behind their backs. The Russian Defense Ministry denies killing civilians and claims images of dead civilians are, quote, fake. But we met a family just returning to their house in Borodyanka, which they say was occupied by Russian soldiers. They show us the body of a dead man in civilian clothes they had found in the backyard. His hands and feet tied with severe bruises and a shell casing still laying nearby. Russia's military appears to have suffered heavy losses before being driven out of the area around Kiev. This column of armored vehicles in Butcha completely destroyed. The way the Ukrainians tell us is that the Russians were trying to go towards Kiev and they were then intercepted by Ukrainian drones, artillery, and also the Javelin anti-tank weapons. It's not clear how many Russians were killed here, but they say many were, and others fled the scene. A national police officer says the Russian troops were simply too arrogant. They thought they could drive on the streets and just go through, he says, that they would be greeted as though it's all right. Maybe they think it is normal to drive around looting, to destroy buildings and to mock people, but our people didn't allow it. And now it appears all the Russians have withdrawn from here. Ukraine says it is now in full control of the entire region around Kiev. But it is only now that the full extent of the civilian suffering is truly coming to light.
I know you saw that. I know you saw it over the weekend. You had to have seen that over the weekend. There is no way you did not see the destruction. There's no way you didn't see the summary execution of civilians. There's no way that you don't know what happened in a town called Butcha. There's no way that you don't know what's going on. I have to believe that. Now, here's two things you need to wrap your head around. One is, this town Mariupol, that's down in the southern part by the Sea of Azov, right? We haven't had any photographers, reporters, no one is in there to let us know what is going on in Mariupol. Now, that is the place where you had the word children written in great big white letters in the front and the back of a drama theater, right? Where people were sheltering in the basement and it was visible from the sky, the words children in the front parking lot and the back parking lot of that theater. Now, what we were told is that approximately 300 people died in the bombing of that theater. That clearly was marked children, okay? But we don't have reporters in Mariupol, so we don't know what is going on there and what we will find once Mariupol is free of Russians. We just don't know. But Butcha, which is in the northwestern suburb, it's a bedroom town. They call it a satellite town. It's a suburb of Kiev, okay, in the northwestern part of the country of Ukraine, northwest of Kiev. The northeast is, another town that called Chernihiv. And we don't know what's going on in there either. We know some of what's going on because there are some reporters now going in there and telling us that there are dead bodies in the street in Chernihiv, right? So the Russians are doing summary executions Last week, we told you that we knew that there were rapes going on, that women were raped in front of their children. Apparently, what the Russian soldiers do, and this is horrible, so if you don't want to hear it, just turn it down for a brief moment, okay? I'm giving you fair warning because this is really horrendous stuff. This is what war with a Russian dictator looks like. This is what Russia does. It's how they fight. And so there's a second thing we need to talk about too. But the first thing is the violence and the war crimes. So what they do is they apparently go into your house, shoot your husband, and then take you in front of your children and rape you repeatedly with a gun to your head. And then they do it to moms. They do it to senior citizens. They do it to the older ladies as well. And when they're done, they either leave you or they kill you. And that is how they terrorize an entire community. And they do it on purpose. They do it because terrorism is designed to make people give up. Terrorism is designed to be so hideous, so ugly, so brutal, so incredibly unthinkable that you will just give up. You will lose all hope and you will give up. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Yeah, hell. They create hell on earth. Now, I don't know if this is regular Russian military or if these are the Wagner troops, the Prigozhin troops, the Putin chef, private mercenary guys. I have no idea, and we don't know. But right now, we need to investigate and see if this is a bunch of Russian soldiers or if this is a bunch of Russian mercenaries or if this is up the chain of command with the orders to go in there and terrorize people in this manner, to put white banners on them. So and apparently when they go into your town, they make everybody wear a white piece of cloth, okay, which eventually they tied guys up with and summarily executed them like the Nazis did and like these guys do, and leave them in the streets. Just leave them there, laying in the streets to be eaten by animals or to rot, whatever. So the second part of what we have to think about is this part, the United Nations part. The United Nations is broken. The United Nations doesn't work. The United Nations can't work because Russia is on the National Security Council and Russia can veto any decision the United Nations would make. Russia is also on the Human Rights Council. If you could believe that, Russia has a seat on the United Nations Human Rights Council, where you can't really, this is the place where investigations into human rights abuses are ordered to begin, but they have no legal authority to do anything about anything. Sort of like the January 6th Commission, right? Where we watched a coup occur in our country by violence. We watched people beat police officers with Blue Lives Matter flagpoles. We watched people in tactical gear with walkie-talkies dressed up like mercenaries, dressed up like little green soldiers, literally attack and beat people inside the Capitol, the center of government in the United States of America. The January 6th Select Committee's been working to do the investigation for this entire time that we know. And at the end, the best we can hope for is a criminal referral for whoever up the chain of command was playing that coup game with the violent insurrectionists. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to RandiRhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.